Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for our online success series, Your Wellbeing Matters. We're going to give it about one more minute to let everybody jump on, and we will start soon. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining us, taking some time out of your busy Thursday afternoon/evenings. With this time change, I can't even tell anymore. But thank you for joining us on our presentation today, Your Wellbeing Matters, Counseling and Support Programs at FIU. My name is Janessa Guzman, and I'm one of the senior success coaches here at FIU Online. And I'm joined by Allegra and Marissa from the Victim Empowerment Program and Counseling and Psychological Services. They'll introduce themselves shortly, but just wanted to let you know that we are here and very excited to be presenting today on a subject matter I think is extremely important, especially with the resources that we have available here, and I can't wait to get into it. But before we do, just a couple of housekeeping rules. This webinar is being recorded, so you don't have to stress about screenshots or taking notes. We'll be emailing it to you early next week. There is a Q&A function down below in Zoom, so please engage, ask the questions that you want to ask. All we ask is that you don't put any personal information since it's something that others can see. So if you do have something that's a little more personal, reach out to us privately and we will definitely help you out. There will be a quick survey at the end of the presentation, short, sweet, about a minute long, and it helps us figure out basically what kind of content presentations that you want to see in the future. And then if you are here for extra credit, your Panther Connect will be updated early next week, but if you have any questions, you can reach out and let us know. So let's get started. So just to briefly touch upon who we are as a success coach team here at FIU Online, whether this is your first webinar, your 11th webinar, you've spoken to your success coach or haven't, we want to let you know that we're here to support you. The success coaches assist fully online undergraduate students and select grad students, basically navigating hurdles, exploring opportunities along your educational journey. We know that everyone's journey looks different and everyone has different goals in mind while they're here. So what we do is one-on-one coaching sessions that are tailored to you as a student. We speak about an array of things, but at the end of the day, we want to find out what's important to you and help you get to that end goal. We also help by navigating university resources, much like what we're doing today, partnering with our partners here to speak a little bit about the Victim Empowerment Program and CAPS. And we just help to keep you on track and reach your goals. And some of the things that we do discuss are things like your academics, finances, health and support, career goals. We try to get to know you holistically to find out really what's important to you, because what's important to you may not be top priority for another student. So we do this by conversations, getting to know you, really finding out what it is you want and need, and helping you develop a plan to get there. So what to expect when a success coach reaches out or you reach out to us? What can you expect? We have phone calls and basically they're very open, confidential, and supportive conversations. We hold space to get to know you, for you to get to know us, and we basically team up to make sure you get to where you need to get to. We help with goal setting and prioritization, just helping to set kind of clear, achievable goals. And everything is very personalized, like I mentioned, so that you get the most out of your Success Coach team meetings and your overall kind of path here at FIU. And hopefully, every conversation, every time you speak to your success coach, you have an action plan and an accountability partner so that you can walk away with a plan and follow up next steps to make sure you are on track for whatever goal that is that you set with your success coach. And this is just to put some faces to the names. This is our team. You do have Jackie, myself, Nahum, and Sarah. And then Tim, Mika, and Natalie. And as you can see, each of us handle different programs. However, you reach any of us, you get us on the phone, we will be happy to help. We'll connect you to your success coaches. We do send emails and calls. But if you need any of us at any time, we do have a general number that will be placed at the end of this presentation. So I definitely encourage you to reach out to your success coach if you haven't yet, to start getting to know us. We can start getting to know you and help you really get the most out of your journey here at FIU. Now I'm going to pass it on to Allegra, who's going to kick it off with the CAPS and the VEP program and all the wonderful, amazing things that they have available here for you.
Thank you, Janessa. As she mentioned, my name is Allegra Saunders Sawicki. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm going to be speaking to you all about the Victim Empowerment Program. And then I'll kick it over to my colleague, Marissa, and if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marissa Bazzano. I am one of the psychology doctoral students and interns here at FIU this year working within the CAPS. Essentially what that means is just that I'm a fifth-year doctoral student being supervised within the clinic. So I'll start off today kind of just talking about the CAPS side of things and the Student Health Center. Wonderful. All right. So at CAPS and within the Student Health Center, we see a lot of different concerns for college students. So according to mental health clinics, we see kind of mostly primarily anxiety concerns that can be coming from social anxiety, test anxiety, even generalized anxiety that come up. We also see a lot of wide range of depression, relationship problems, stress, of course, as we know, as college students, there are many stressors that come in with being a student in general, that be managing your course load, managing friendships and relationships on top of school, and even on top of work as well. So we see a variety of things, family stress, trauma, and specifically a lot of adjustment to that new environment to college. So kind of this is just the wide range of maybe some things that we see throughout college, but also some things that maybe individuals experience throughout their time in college and before and after. So within CAPS, we provide both in-person and online services. So to start off with just our in-person services, we do individual, couples, and we do group therapy. All right. We also do testing. So our testing within testing, again, we do it both online and in person. We do ADHD assessments, we do autism assessments, we do full psychological batteries, and a lot of people come in for testing maybe for diagnostic clarification to get a better understanding as to really what it is that's going on within inside of them, to get just a better understanding of themselves in general. Some students come into looking for accommodations within academics or within work or even within kind of applying for graduate schools, needing those accommodations with test taking. Some too come in looking for medication or just other resources or recommendations that we can provide through doing formal assessments. We also talk about kind of the consultation and referrals that we work on within CAPS. So that includes kind of referring to either outside of the CAPS VEP umbrella or also making referrals within the student health and wellness umbrella in itself. So we do referrals to maybe outside community providers or other referrals between that kind of umbrella being the Healthy Living Program, Dean of Students Office, the DRC, and so on. And we also consult with other areas on campus and just to really ensure that everyone is getting the best care possible, whether that's with us in CAPS, with Allegra and VEP, or with other departments on campus. So as I mentioned, everything that we do in person, we also do online. And with you all being online students, this is really crucial that we kind of emphasize for you guys. So we do teletherapy. I will say primarily a lot of the therapy that we do is over Zoom in general. So you can meet with all of us at CAPS, all of us at VEPS during teletherapy between the hours of 8 and 5. We do also group therapy over Zoom as well. So you could engage in groups, virtual, and also all of our screenings. So like when I was talking about the ADHD assessments, the autism assessments, the batteries, the psychological batteries, that happens online as well. So anything that catches your eye here, we do online and we make that applicable. So if you're struggling over in the west coast of Florida, we're able to really help you and provide the services throughout CAPS, whether that's testing, whether that's therapy, whether that's group therapy to really gain a community or just make connection with others. We also have a lot of services and resources through Panther Connect. So we have podcasts that are available for people to listen to gain that added support or insight outside of just traditional therapy. And we also have workshops, which are really great. So our workshops go throughout the semester, and there is a wide variety of workshops that we offer, and they're available to anyone who is a student, and they're all on Zoom, which makes it really applicable and easy to access. Our workshops range from test anxiety to first generation struggles to managing difficult emotions from we to me, right? Dealing with breakups, dealing with relationships, dealing with conflict, which is really wonderful. We have ADHD workshops. We have calming the body, calming the mind. So these workshops are really great 60-minute to 90-minute kind of snapshots of skills, getting kind of immersed within the CAPS environment, in VEP environment as well, and connecting with the clinicians on campus. So our workshops are through Panther Connect. We'll get into it a little bit more, but on our website, caps.fiu.edu, there are these resources and more. Okay, so like I said, getting into it. Panther Connect. This is really where we have a lot of our resources that include everything that's up and coming. So our events, our workshops. You can go on to Panther Connect, and on it has our entire calendar of workshops. I know there are a few left for the rest of the semester, and then there will be an entirely new calendar and schedule coming out for the winter semester as well. So with these workshops, you'll have the current offerings, and then it has on it the Zoom links and the passcodes as well. So what you can do is you can find out, you can see which ones maybe in the future, these is what I would interest in, this is what I would like to sign up for. You can actually RSVP right then and there. And through RSVPing, they send you email reminders quite literally up until the morning of, with the Zoom links and everything. So you're really keeping track of what workshops might benefit you and so on. And you do not need to be doing therapy or group therapy or anything to attend the workshops as well. They are open to the entire student population. So kind of when thinking about CAPS and wanting to engage in therapy, there are a course of questions that come up regarding that. So we want to kind of go over here the therapy session model. So first question that we pose is, are there session limits? Not necessarily, all right? But we do utilize a solution-oriented brief therapy model. And essentially what that means is that we kind of run on an average of 6 to 8 sessions. Now, these sessions typically, depending on the time of the year or our availability range bi-weekly. Now, that is not a set in stone number, that 6 to 8. We're not going to say, okay, 8 sessions done. No, we meet you where you are and ensure that your needs are met, but we do kind of run in that brief therapy model. We, however, like I mentioned before, work with referrals. So we may provide referrals to community providers, which are providers for maybe students who are presenting with issues that need longer term therapy, or even maybe more specific types of therapy that we can't dive into here at CAPS, right? So depending on what people are looking for, whether that's weekly sessions, longer term beyond that brief therapy model, we are able to really connect students with those providers in the community and ensure that it is kind of in like the realm that they're able to handle. Now, how long can I get an appointment? This varies, like I mentioned, depending on the demand. It typically fluctuates within the time of the year and within kind of the academic calendar as well. For scheduling appointments, we start off with an access appointment, which essentially is where we meet you guys, kind of get to know you, see what is going on, and then plan for the future. And then with our access appointments, we schedule those 3 days out. So when the schedule is full for the next 3 days, students then are required to call back. We kind of leave it in the student's hands, but we are open and able to fit you guys in when that schedule frees up, and we're pretty good with communicating and ensuring that it fits in with schedules. Same thing, both like I mentioned before, online and in person, the same process. However, students in crisis are seen immediately. Now, to be in a crisis, you don't need to be in our office walking through the door at the front desk in a crisis. If you are ever experiencing a crisis or what feels like a crisis, we are able to see you and help you out immediately, even virtually. Okay, so even being online, if you give us a call and are in crisis, need immediate help and someone to talk to, we will be there for you, whether that's jumping on a Zoom or over the phone. So even though you are online, that completely applies to everyone as well. So therapy online scheduling, evenings and weekends are available with this company that we're contracted with called BetterMind. So this is sometimes helpful for students that maybe their flexibility or availability isn't between our 8 to 5 hours and they need more of that time outside of it. So we have able to kind of set that referral up with BetterMind, which is a great resource. Okay, so making an appointment, we ask that students please call ahead for an appointment, even online students. So we are located at the main campus and then the BBC campus as well, but you can call the phone number, which is listed here, and just let them know that you're interested in scheduling an appointment with a CAPS provider. And they're able to set you up again, that 3-day scheduling. We are open between the hours of 8 and 5 p.m. However, we do have an after hours hotline, which I know Allegra will get into, that if you do call after those hours, we are available. But regardless, being online students, just give us a call at this number and we'll be able to help you out and set you up with an appointment. Okay, so I know this may not apply to students that are online, but just kind of where are we if you ever find yourself on campus and needing a visit, needing to chat to someone. So we are in the Student Health Center. This is right next to the Recplex. We have a north and we have a south entrance. We are in the north entrance. No, we are in the south entrance. So the north entrance is more of the student health services, the doctors, medical providers, psychiatrists in there, where the south entrance is us in the healthy living program. So when you go in the south entrance, if you go up the elevator to the second floor, that is where you find both CAPS and VEP. I will say that if you put this in your GPS, just the Student Health Center, it will take you right there. So pretty easy, but if you guys ever find yourself on campus and needing assistance, we are there for you. All right, and then I'm going to pass it over to Allegra and she'll talk about that.
Thank you, Marissa. So again, my name is Allegra and I will be going over the Victim Empowerment Program for you all. So the Victim Empowerment Program is predominantly a program that's going to serve students in a free, confidential capacity who have recently experienced a very specific type of victimization. So here we're seeing threats, violence, or trauma. Those threats, violence, or trauma are categorized by domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and/or sexual trauma. And then also stalking, harassment, hate crimes. And so we have a very specific group of students that we serve and that we work with. And so it allows us to be able to work perhaps in a more intensive capacity, but not necessarily as a wide of a net as you are going to see in CAPS. Part of our programming is to really help students improve their relationship skills through supporting awareness, prevention, advocacy, as well as empowerment. And so I will go over sort of the tenets of our program, which are empowerment, advocacy, and counseling. So empowerment. So some of what we do in our program is to empower students who have experienced, again, one of those types of crimes, or sometimes they are coming in with multiple versions of those crimes. We might have someone who has experienced a dating violence relationship, and then maybe the individual is also stalking and or harassing them. So they might be experiencing different facets of the same thing with the same person. And so a big part of what we do is to empower students and allow them to see what it is that they need. Right, we're supporting them in recognizing, do they need to obtain safety? Do they need to obtain medical support? Are they in need of perhaps accommodations through the university? So a big part of what we're doing is trying to help them identify their needs as well as perhaps maybe their reporting desires. And I'll get into reporting in a bit. Some of the styles that we use are motivational interviewing to try and encourage students to be able to seek services that may be useful and helpful for them. And then we also engage in quite a lot of safety planning. I think safety planning is predominantly, and again, thinking about the types of situations that students find themselves in when they come to our office, safety is paramount. Often we are working with law enforcement, we might be working with the court systems, we are working with different university offices. And so safety planning tends to begin at the moment that we meet students. And in a similar capacity to CAPS, we operate in an on-call capacity. And so we are able to see students pretty much from 8 to about 4:45, 5 o'clock. And we're able to provide them with support, go over the circumstances that they are facing, and then really work to make sure that they have a safety plan that is going to allow them to feel comfortable, whether they're on campus or they're off campus. And again, I know for you all, the majority of you all are going to be off campus. So we do also provide safety planning virtually as well. And then we provide academic support and of course, emotional support as someone is going through typically what we call an acute crisis, which just means that someone is going through something that is immediate. It's happening right now. It's something that's happening, over the last few days or within the last week or up to about a month of them coming into our office. So advocacy. So I'll spend quite a lot of time here. I think this is it's a pretty big part of what we do. I think it's probably one solid leg, and then the other leg would be counseling. So the advocacy that we provide can vary, and it depends on the circumstance as well as the situation that the student finds them in. You may see us providing support to students in terms of obtaining a restraining order. Perhaps we're getting a temporary protective order. Perhaps we're helping students connect with a community partner that can submit that documentation for them. Depending on the circumstance, we may also provide accompaniment to court when they are going through the temporary restraining order process and even the permanent restraining order process. If we have a student that comes to us perhaps through law enforcement or maybe through the county or maybe through housing, and they've experienced a sexual assault and they would like to receive treatment and they would like to receive services, we will accompany those students either to the Rape Treatment Center. There's also the Empowerment Center that recently opened this summer on campus. And so we might escort students there. And then again, for our online students, what we might do is connect students with an advocate. Let's say they're not in the county. Let's say they're not in Miami-Dade or Broward. We'll connect students with programs that are in their vicinity. We'll connect with those advocates up there. If a student really does want to have that same facilitation of support, we might be able to provide that virtual, perhaps advocacy therapy, and then they'll have that in-person support by an advocate that's located closer to them. We also support students in filing police reports. So again, escorting them to the police department. Perhaps we're helping them get connected to a local precinct that's in their vicinity. And then we'll give them support in terms of, how to report, how to be prepared for the telling of their story or the telling of the events that occurred to them in a way that is trauma informed and sensitive. And then also being able to, again, empower them to be advocates in those spaces. We offer an array of academic support. We will reach out to professors on behalf of students in a very, I like to say kind of a vague manner so that your information, your situation is not disclosed to them, but professors tend to know that if they're working with our program, then something serious has occurred. And again, the more we do outreach, the more presentations we do, the more I think professors come to realize that something within the ballpark of sexual assault, DV, stalking, harassment is occurring. And so we've had pretty good success in working with professors to give students extensions, to make up assignments, We empower students to also reach out to their professors, to reach out to their advisors, so that they're getting all of that support. We may also connect them with the DRC, right? Our students do meet criteria for connecting with the DRC, and so we'll write those letters of support. We'll help them meet with the DRC program coordinators. We'll accompany them to those meetings, and then we'll discuss with them what accommodations may or may not be the most useful for them. We also complete medical appeals because we are all licensed clinicians. There's 2 of us who are social workers and then 3 of us who are licensed mental health counselors. And so we'll complete medical appeals if for whatever reason the situation that occurred really prevents the student from being able to be successful or prevents you from being able to complete your work. We will help you with that appeal process and we'll go over that while also encouraging you to connect with your advisor so that you can get a better sense of what that might look like or how that might have an impact on your overall academic journey. We also empower students to submit their own incident reports. So let's say, there's something happening on campus, you're being stalked by someone, and you really want to share this with the university. We'll sit there and we'll help you, kind of craft what that narrative is going to be, and we'll empower you to submit that information. And then we'll walk you through the process of connecting possibly with Title IX or with the Student Conduct and Academic Integrity Office. So we will do a lot of empowering students to sort of take back control in situations where control has been removed from them. And then again, I mentioned safety planning before. Some of the primary offices that we work with while we are on campus are definitely housing. We work closely with the Dean of Students. We work closely with OCRCA, which is the Office for Civil Rights Compliance and Accessibility, which is where Title IX is housed, Student Conduct and Academic Integrity. And then we work very closely with FIU PD. We receive a lot of our referrals from them. And then we also work with One Stop. And again, that's sort of anything financial or anything medical appeal related is going to be connected through them. And then we also work with the community because, again, we service students who are FIU students. So yes, some of our students live on campus, but a broad amount of them live outside of campus. A lot of our students, their victimizations do not happen in campus. They happen within the larger community. So we work with, again, Miami-Dade County Clerk of Courts. We also work with Broward County. We will work with Coordinated Victim Assistance Center. We're recently kind of connected to Educate Tomorrow. So we're constantly looking for programs in the community that are going to be able to help our students while also serving the needs that they have while they're on campus. So counseling. So that advocacy, think of that as one major leg of the work that we do. The other leg that tends to come sort of secondary is counseling. Now, in an acute crisis, if someone's coming to us and again, following one of these major situations, there's going to just be an element of emotional support that we're providing throughout. So I'll give you kind of an example. I have a student that recently came to me following a breakup of a violent relationship. And, she's also experiencing some harassment and stalking right now. And so initially, there's a lot of emotional support that goes into meeting her where she is, as we are also figuring out what her needs are. How are we going to tailor her safety concerns to fit while she's on campus and when she's off campus? So counseling is sort of baked into the work that we do, but there is typically a time where we get to a point where a student is pretty stable from an advocacy perspective. And then we sort of move into this counseling realm, which I think a lot of students do appreciate this piece of it. Our counseling in VEP looks very different from counseling in CAPS. Again, because we are a smaller program, there are currently 5 of us, including our assistant director. We are only capable of seeing a certain number of students that are eligible for our program, but our capacity to really work with them is greater. So we have far more intensity in frequency in our ability to meet with students. So for example, we might see students when they first come to us, maybe once, twice, 3 times in that week, going over all of the different advocacy related situations, as well as the safety planning. And then as time goes by, we will typically move students into a once a week, sometimes twice a week process. And then we're able to offer therapy that goes beyond the brief model. Most of our students, we are seeing them over multiple semesters. I think myself, I tend to see students for about a year or so. And it's the time that we take to be able to address whatever the situation was, the trauma, and then also other things that have happened that may be connected or that might come up as a result of the most recent victimization. And so to do that, we obviously have to utilize, again, crisis intervention. We are all trained trauma therapists. We're all also trained in EMDR. We're also all trained in DBT. So we have quite a few different modalities of treatment under our belts. And we use, I think, a mixture of them. Again, relaxation techniques, coping skills, psychoeducation, experiential. We have a group that we've been trying to sort of roll out, which is more of an art, sort of expressive trauma art group that we're trying to use. So all of our work is really about using both top-down, bottom-up approaches to trauma that are going to help students navigate the effects of whatever the situation is that brought them into us. And then, of course, helping them to really piece the puzzle back together in a way that allows them to continue successfully academically and then move forward into their careers, into the future, wherever their journey takes them post FIU. Our goal is to try to help them get there. So I'll spend quite a lot of time here. So our structure is 24/7, and so we do mean that. So right now I'm actually on call this evening. My supervisor is covering for me until this is finished, but we have 3 on-call shifts. We have an 8 a.m. to a 1 p.m. On-call shift. So what that looks like is, let's say my colleague was on call this morning. And so someone had walked in with by themselves, or a professor had walked a student over, or perhaps, again, you guys are online and let's say one of you all called and had a crisis and you wanted to speak with one of us. That individual, she's going to cover that 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. slot. Then again, let's say someone calls between 2 at 2:30. Another one of my colleagues was on call from 1 o'clock to 5 p.m. She's going to cover that slot. And then I'm on call right now. Now, our evening on call looks a little different from our daytime on call. Our evening on call is specifically for situations that require us to be activated to campus and or to activate law enforcement intervention. So that is going to look like a sexual assault and or a domestic violence, dating violence situation in which we need to provide housing relocation support. So our evening on call is a little bit more tailored to these very specific crises, but we utilize our crisis hotline, which is called Protocol. Protocol is a third-party company that FIU contracts with. And when you call the 305-348-2277 number, what you'll get is a representative from that crisis line. That line serves 2 functions after hours. If you are experiencing, let's say, a mental health crisis, suicidality, you're very anxious, you're having a panic attack, you are in fear for your safety, something like that, and you want to speak to a crisis counselor, you can call that number, you'll press 2, and you will be connected to Protocol. If you are experiencing one of those 2 circumstances, the sexual assault or the domestic violence situation, if you press 2, you'll be connected to Protocol, who will then get in touch with my supervisor, one of my 2 supervisors, and then they will activate one of us who is on call. So that number, like I said, serves 2 roles. One is purely for mental health crises, which anyone can call, and CAPS will receive, actually both of us, CAPS and VEP, we will receive a report the following day and follow up with students. Or if it's a situation that's VEP related, maybe we'll get a report and we'll follow up with the student. Or if it rises to the level of activation, then one of us, the advocates, will be activated and meet students typically in the community and or by phone. So that is the helpline. I do encourage all students to capture that, to save that phone number. Again, if you're trying to get connected to CAPS during the day, if you're trying to get connected to us during the day, if you have a crisis in the evening or after hours, this is the best number for you all to use. Okay, so something we didn't cover earlier, but all of the services that we offer at CAPS in terms of therapy, group therapy, workshops, drop-in groups, vet programming, so the advocacy, the support that we provide, all of that is going to be covered within your student health fee, which is a piece of which comes out of your tuition. The only pieces that do not get covered within the student health fee are our psychoeducational testing. And also our testing accommodations, again, the LSAT, GRE, NCLEX. So if you are seeking testing services that are going to help you to either clarify a diagnosis, or perhaps they're going to be accommodations for work or accommodations for school, or even possibly medication management, those do come with an associated fee. Okay, so a bit of a disclaimer here. We are housed, as Marissa said, we are housed above Healthy Living, but neither Marissa nor I are Healthy Living representatives. So I'm going to briefly go over the Healthy Living program because it falls within the same umbrella of student health and wellness that we are a part of. But if you have questions about anything that comes up from the Healthy Living program, there will be a slide at the end that will have a link with information and a way for you to access the website. And I encourage you to direct any questions about healthy living towards their program because we are completely different programs. So if you don't already know, Healthy Living does provide health consultations, and they do also have an online service as well. So you can reach out and meet with an individual from their program virtually. You can also participate in some of their workshops. Now, their STI and HIV testing is done on site, so that isn't necessarily something that would be offered remotely, but they also work with community referrals, community partners. So if you needed to receive testing, they would be able to connect you to an agency that is near to you. They provide safer sex materials, and then they also have a calendar of different events that students can participate in. Additional pieces of programming that they offer are sound therapy, acupuncture, Reiki, dietitian consultations, which again, those you can also access online. They do have aromatherapy, and I think everyone that works in our building knows when they are filling up they have these little bottles, and when they're filling up their essential oils, you'll kind of smell like the whole building starts to smell like essential oils. So one year there was like a ginger oil spill it just stuck with the building for like months. So that is a big part of what they do, but they do give these free little bottles out, and they give them to staff, they give them to students. And then lastly, they also offer massages. They used to offer massages for faculty and staff, and now they only offer massages for students. So those of you, if you ever do make it on campus, you can benefit from the massages. But I do know that you have to book your massage. They tend to fill up, so trying to walk in with a massage will likely not be successful. All right. And so this slide I think is really interesting because this really captures all of the programs that are within sort of the student health and wellness. So we've got athletic training, myself and Marissa through CAPS. Dean of Students is another entity that, again, we work with frequently when students are just kind of in need and require direction. The Disability Resource Center for accommodations and testing support for students. The Financial Wellness Program, which is another program we refer students to frequently to be able to access support. And all of these, maybe not athletic training, but I know for sure CAPS, Dean of Students, DRC, Financial Wellness, they are all offered online or in a telehealth capacity. Health compliance and the Healthy Living Program, student conduct and academic integrity, the food pantry. Again, if you're ever on campus, we have a food pantry both here at MMC and then also at our BBC campus. We again have the health clinics, and as Marissa said, the health clinics that have sort of the nurses, the psychiatrists, as well as the practicing MDs, they're located sort of on the north side of the building, and then we are located on the south side. Of course, our victim empowerment program, which is on the same floor as CAPS, and then the Wellness and Recreation Center, which is next door to us, and has, again, an array of different services and supports that students can get while they're on campus. And then this is the wheels of the dimension of wellness. As you can see, there's quite a few different dimensions of wellness that overall student health and wellness tries to promote and support students in. So, just to kind of wrap up, you can get in touch with us, contact us via the 305-348-2277 number. You can also get more information at shw.fiu.edu. So again, if you have questions about healthy living, that's where I would head to. If you're ever on campus, you can walk over SHC 270, and then at the BBC campus, WUC 320. You can follow us on Instagram. I think we actually have a CAPS Instagram. VEP doesn't have an Instagram due to the nature of our work, where we have to be a little bit more sensitive to our information being public out there. But we exist vicariously through CAPS. And then if you need anything, you can follow that QR code. Thank you, guys.
Allegra, Marissa, I want to thank you so much because as we're sitting here, and we've worked with FIU for quite some time, we were shocked at the amount of things that both of your departments do and the resources that are available out there. And, not only, yes, to local students, because we definitely have online students that are local that can come down to campus, but to the students that cannot make it down to campus, the fact that the resources are there and the connection that you can assist is phenomenal. So I want to thank you very much for that, for all the info. I'm going to encourage anyone that's out there to ask some questions. There were some questions asked and answered. I'm going to just read them out loud just for, everyone's sake. One question, and this was towards the beginning for the success coaches, is how do success coaches choose which graduate students get chosen? Currently, we just expanded the success coaching to graduate students about a couple semesters ago, which has been wonderful. And we currently started with two programs, a partnership with two programs, which is engineering management and network security. So right now, those are the populations that we work with. However, stay tuned. This is an ever growing, ever evolving. So we will hopefully be able to expand some more and get more graduate programs on board. So just wanted to quickly answer that one. There was a question. It says, if I make an appointment, will my professor or family know I'm seeking the help? Marissa, thank you. You responded, no, they will not find out. Both CAPS and VEP provide confidential services. So you can rest assured that when you do seek the resources, it is 100% confidential.
Mhm.
Great. Another question was, do I need to have insurance to access the CAPS services? And CAPS is a service that is included in the student health fee. I know Allegra mentioned there was, I think, one testing that was.
Yes, testing. So if you're seeking psychological testing that like Marissa referenced in the beginning, so either a full battery ADHD screening or the full ADHD testing, accommodations for, again, entrance exams and such, that does come at a fee or with a fee.
Yeah, I can explain that a little more. So the ADHD assessment is $50. The other assessments start at $300. And they all have to be uploaded. That amount has to be uploaded to your one card. And then that one card, you contact our front desk and they process the payment. So it's not like we can send checks or cash or anything to the CAPS office. It's all uploaded to your one card, which honestly makes things a little easier to process the payments. But anywhere from like 50 is the ADHD, and then I know the autism starts at 300 as well.
Thank you. That's great information to know. Can I access CAPS services if I'm an international graduate student? And you mentioned yes, the services are provided for both graduate and undergraduate, including individual therapy, group therapy, and psychological assessment.
Yes. And I'll add a little bit. So international students, I definitely encourage you all to reach out because you can access services, you are eligible for services. Depending on the program that you're in, if you're a global first year, there may be additional things that we might need to do to ensure that you are eligible. There may, if you haven't, sometimes our international students don't pay the student health fee. And so there's just a way that we navigate that. But typically, most of our international students are capable of working with us. And whether graduate or undergraduate, we're from both sides of the house, CAPS, and we're able to serve you.
Thank you. And then somebody asked, how can I get involved with a victim empowerment program? Contacting the phone number 305-348-2277 or visiting the website.
Yes, and you can also, this isn't in the slides, and I will probably throw this in the chat. You can also email us depending, again, depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for services, you can send us an email to advocacy@fiu.edu, and I'll put that in here. And you can just mention that you're seeking support, that you're looking for some type of help. If you are looking to get involved in a capacity that is not as a student receiving services, then you can also call or you can send an email. And again, because we're on call 24/7, someone will see that email or someone will answer that phone call unless it's after hours. And then if it's after hours, someone will get back to you the following business day and let you know what's the best way to connect to us based on what your needs are.
Awesome. So if anybody has any more questions, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A. And as we're wrapping up, kind of to what you were saying, so if a student does just not know where to start, they just know that they want the resources and they want to reach out, where is the first kind of step to go to?
I think the phone, I think calling us is probably the most useful way. During business hours is probably the best way to get connected to us. And then speaking with our front desk staff are trained to be able to, sort through and filter students that are going to be a fit for CAPS and students that are going to be a fit for VEP. And then they'll get you connected with someone who's available to speak to you.
Thank you so much. While we kind of wrap up, let any last questions come through. Just wanted to put the Success Coach team's contact information here. You have our email or phone, and you can opt into texting if you need to reach out to any of us. Even if after this you don't know where to start and you happen to get to us, we are here to help connect you to Marissa, Allegra, and their team. We just want to let you know that we are a big support network here for you. So no matter who you reach to, we're going to get you to where you need to get to. There is going to be a survey also in the chat. So please go ahead and click on that and fill it out. Just a quick 1-minute survey so that we can put on the next webinar according to what you all want to see. And if there are no more questions, I thank you very much for spending the time with us. Allegra, Marissa, thank you again for this wealth of information and spending the night here with us, this hour with us. And everybody else will stay on for about 1 more minute. But if not, I hope you have a beautiful night and take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, it seems like the questions are good to go. So thank you again, everyone, and have a beautiful night. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.